Hola, amigos. I haven't seen you guys in a while. So I just realized today that I haven't uploaded a YouTube video in almost 2 weeks. And I apologize. I was had my brother's funeral service on the 22nd of November, and then I just shut down. It was a really beautiful service. It was brought a lot of people together. It brought a lot of um, things that were hidden in people out in a good way and in bad ways. Some people who really didn't want to be there. I mean, everything was revealed in our family in terms of the karmic cycle, the burning of our karmic debt, and we had 3 deaths in 3 years. So I believe we closed a cycle in a sense. So, but I still dealt with a whole week of very dark, very dark. I can't even comprehend to tell you guys that literally like sitting in your living room by yourself and all the thoughts that come through someone's mind and all of the negative and the guilt and the I guess the enemy just really found its way into my mind because I was in a low frequency. I mean, anyone who's dealing with loss, grief, death, um, especially with how it happened. If it were like a grandparent or a parent, probably be a different story. But this was like my brother who was 11 years older than me and a massive heart attack and a bunch of uncovered situations that came out after, and it was sort of like having to take all of the affliction from my mom so that she can prepare and do all this stuff that she needs to do, and then helping her mentally, emotionally, with the service. So it was just a really, I needed a week to just kind of hit the concrete, go into the darkest place I've ever been in my life, and know that I would get out of it. I prayed. I was like, God, I don't know. I just felt like it was such a scary, 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 dark place where I went mentally, emotionally. Um, it was to the point where I can even think about uploading a YouTube video because so many people come to this channel for, quick resources and things like that, and people want to be encouraged and uplifted. Whereas Facebook, people already know me in person, so they already can expect me to say anything at any time. YouTube's a little different. This is sort of like I want to keep the inspiration to a group of people I don't even know at times. But I do appreciate a lot of the comments that I do receive, and I do make sure I respond to everybody. But quickly, I just wanted to mention a big thank you to everybody for all of your support in the last month because it's not easy. And when you're dealing with something to that caliber of discouragement and hurt, and you still have to go to work every day, and there were some things at work that weren't really going too well with me either. And my job is very complicated because it's entrepreneurial and it's service providing and it's you know dealing with the cabal and things like that at the same time. So it's just sometimes it's just too much. And though I would like to have a normal job, a normal life where I don't have to be associated with so many people at one time, it's too late. But as I'm getting older and getting more into my inner self and reconnecting myself again to this metaphysical, conscious, subconscious, unconscious, Holy Spirit, Christ, divine Sheboygan, I'm starting to find that there has to be some kind of trial, some kind of fall, some kind of disconnect, some kind of opposition, and then you reconnect. Everyone has to go through it. So I was just reflecting on that. And another quick thing I wanted to say to everybody was that there has been some weird things going on lately. People are acting weird. It started that week, the funeral service, where I was like, I know it's not just people acting this way because, I'm grieving. I'm not the happiest I wasn't the happiest person for the last 3 weeks, but I had a right. But people were acting weird. And then my neighbor yesterday night, hey girl, she knows what I'm talking about. She told me yesterday there was like this weird incident that happened with her on the street where someone was coming directly at her and was not making any verbal sense whatsoever. Today I walked to the market. I usually do the same walk it's the same L-shaped walk for 2 blocks that I do every day. And I was just noticing how the intersection where I pass, this L intersection, has really conjured something that's very, it's like every time I walk the intersection, it's a whole different multiverse, or it's a different reality of that intersection. And there's just different types of people coming out the woodwork. And like today, there was a guy who was just like, I have to check the time. There was a guy who basically, actually I'll just walk. I'm at work. There was a guy who was walking, and there was a dog that barked, and then the guy was mimicking the dog barking. And while that sounds funny, at the same time, I was like, wait a minute, that's not normal. And I started realizing everyone in that intersection was basically like, not judging anyone, but I noticed how a lot of them were homeless or wandered from their home. It was just like everyone, including myself. I went to the market and then I was like, uh-oh, I left at the wrong time. But I was brought into, and then I think this is where I'm coming to, is a lot of times you are extracted from where you are and you're put into a place only to gain realization of that environment, only to gain knowledge and wisdom, understand the functionality of it, and get out. That's the whole premise of why we go through darkness. That's why we have dark moments. And that's why we shouldn't shame or hurt ourselves when we are going through dark trials and hard times. So I want you guys to know that if you feel like something weird's going on, and I gotta run, don't get ran over. Yeah, but people are acting so weird. And I was just like, it's kind of freaky. But I know we're coming up to a very strange event around Christmas time. I've been picking this up for a while. The week of Christmas, just be mindful. We still have the 3 days of darkness coming up. And I feel like we're getting close to that. Only because there's an eclipse that week of Christmas. And I already known about the 3 days of darkness being during an eclipse. And people acting very funky. And even like this morning, I had like a stigmata situation where I went through it. I know, it's a head game. But outside of my window was this like groaning, moaning, and someone sounded like a cry or a weep for help. And I just didn't want to open a window. I didn't want to look. I was like, it's nope. I don't want to do that. I don't want to trick myself into that. So just be mindful, you guys, that there's some strange things occurring, and just keep your eyes open and just try to maintain being in your own position without trying to reach out and do any type of like helping others in this moment right now. Focus on yourself. Because for a while I got tricked into helping. Then I found myself getting stuck in situations where I'm like, wow, I thought it was my job and I have to help and I have to be involved. And it got me all distracted trying to get back to being where I am now. So anyways, I'm at work and I have to let you guys go, but I'll continue this in another video. Bye.